They say love is wicked, but what about death? Death is heartless and cruel, especially when it takes away the good people. This story brings to mind the popular poem by Mary Elizabeth Fry. Do not stand there at my grave and weep. I am not there, I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow, I am the diamond glints on the snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain, I am the gentle autumn rain. The air in Malaysia was thick with sorrow and disbelief as the nation grappled with the untimely demise of Prince Jalil. The beloved Prince of Malaysia, known for his humility, love, and unwavering commitment to his people, had left the world too soon, his life extinguished at the mere age of 25. The media was abuzz with news of mourning, with one major question on people's lips. Why does the man who was seen as the savior of the future have to die? It was a national mourning with a palpable sense of pain and a deep grief in the air. This is the life of the beloved and respected Prince of Malaysia. His early life. On the 5th of July 1990, within the opulent halls of the Malaysian royal family, Prince Abdul Jalil was born to Sultan Ibrahim ibn al-Marum Sultan Iskandar and Raja Zarith Sofia, the esteemed Permaisuri of Johor. As the fourth of 6 children, his arrival marked the continuation of a lineage renowned for its wealth, influence, and a unique blend of tradition and modernity. From the outset, Prince Jalil's life was set against a backdrop of extraordinary privilege. His father, Sultan Ibrahim, stood as a colossus in the Malaysian monarchy, wielding not just the substantial familial fortune estimated at around $5.7 billion, encompassing a vast array of assets, but also the affection and respect of the Malaysian people for his and the royal family's profound sense of duty and philanthropy. The Johor dynasty, distinct in its right for maintaining its army, a privilege secured in the historic exchange for Johor's independence from British colonial rule in 1967, offered Prince Jalil a life of unmatched opulence and influence. Yet it was in his deliberate choice to veer away from a path of indulgence that Jalil's true character shone the brightest. Despite the wealth and power at his disposal, Prince Jalil charted a course not for personal gain, but for unwavering commitment to the welfare of others. From a tender age, he distinguished himself not just by his royal lineage, but by his empathy, his resolve to contribute meaningfully to society, and his dedication to philanthropy, qualities that would define his too brief existence and leave an indelible mark on those who knew him and the many lives he touched. These traits of his can be traced to early upbringing by his grandfather Al-Marum Sultan Iskandar, who showed him to understand the citizens' lives, good and bad, poor and wealthy. Prince Abdul Jalil started his education at Sekolah Sri Utama Johor Bahru and then went to Yayasan Pendidikan Johor Zai Karim Johor Bahru International School. After finishing school in Johor, he became really interested in animals. This led him to volunteer at the Singapore Zoo, where he worked with reptiles for a year. His love for animals grew and he decided to study more about them at the Zoological Society of London. There, he spent almost 2 years learning and helping out before graduating with honors. After his studies in London, he came back to Malaysia. Even though he could have taken an easy job in the government because of his royal status, he wanted to do something more meaningful. So he went to study at the Orangutan Rehabilitation Center in the Kai Bili Sepilok Forest Reserve. This showed how much he wanted to help and make a real difference, not just take an easy path because he was a prince. Influenced by his father's and grandfather's values, Prince Jalil understood that his efforts shouldn't be limited to animal conservation alone. People also needed support and protection. Surprisingly, his commitment to public service led him to join the police force, a choice unexpected for someone of his royal standing. By the age of 21, Jalil expanded his commitment from humanitarian efforts to public service, becoming an active member of the Malaysian Red Crescent Society, among other charitable groups. Unlike his peers who pursued leisure sports, he chose a path less traveled by royalty. His decision to forego a life of ease for public service was remarkable. Choosing to serve as a police officer, he was driven by a profound sense of duty and a desire to positively impact the lives of his fellow citizens. This decision set him apart from his wealthy contemporaries, showcasing his unique commitment to service over privilege. Within a year, his dedication saw him rise to the rank of inspector. Not content with conventional roles, Jalil soon joined the Elite Special Actions Unit, a testament to his dedication to national defense and service. This move symbolized his deep-seated commitment to lead by example and contribute actively to the country's security and well-being. Jalil's journey from royal privilege to the front lines of law enforcement, including his rapid rise through the ranks and his eventual joining of the anti-terrorism unit at just 23, displays his bravery and dedication. But his life does not end in the walls of the military. Prince Abdul Jalil's life encompassed several activities, as he knew how to balance them. His life covers his commitment to public duty and his love for sailing and sports. His determination to promote sailing amongst his fellow residents, particularly the youth, demonstrates his willingness to share his passions and encourage active engagement in sports. He exhibits interest in sailing despite his sensitivity to horsehair. In 2013, he brought the Malaysian Sailing League and a youth sailing initiative to the country. In late 2013, he launched mass programs to make sailing accessible to thousands of underprivileged people and established Liga Layar Malaysia, demonstrating Abdul Jalil's efforts to democratize the sports and foster potential in his own country. Liga Layar Malaysia is a national match racing series with 8 tournaments held around the country. Visiting Pulau Langkawi, Johor Bahru, and many other places, sailors compete with the top 5 at each leg, having monetary prizes. The experience and exposure garnered throughout the series have proven useful in promoting the sport to Malaysians today. In 2014, the International Sailing Federation awarded him the President Development Award. His actions popularized sailing and paved the road for bright sportsmen to achieve worldwide success, leaving an indelible mark on Malaysia's athletic landscape. This was what coined him the title "the People's King of Souls" by his loyal followers. He was seen to be the one people can always rely on. But life does not always go the way we want, and bad things happen to good people. Despite his achievements and great affection among his subjects, Prince Abdul Jalil faced an unexpected and devastating struggle: his sickness. Aside from a nagging pain in his right shoulder, Jalil had always been the picture of health, with nothing to suggest any underlying health issues. His family attributed it to a muscle pull or bad posture. In an interview with Zahara Othman, his mother said, "We thought he pulled a muscle and even blamed it on the way he sat on the sofa." Gradually, he began experiencing extreme fatigue and loss of appetite in early 2014. Initially, the prince attributed it to stress and an excessive workload from his humanitarian work. His family and close friends saw he was losing weight quickly. Still, he ignored their worries, attributing it to his hectic schedule. It wasn't until a regular checkup in the fall of 2014 that the full extent of his sickness was revealed. During his visit to London with his 2 other brothers and his father, the Sultan, his shoulder pain worsened drastically. He was then taken to the National Health Service Hospital in London and later to Cromwell Hospital, where an X-ray showed something more sinister than a mere shoulder pain. Datuk Dr. Tan Kai Cha, a surgeon and pioneer in the field of liver transplant, advised them to transfer the prince to Singapore, where he would later be operated on. During the operation, they put a hole on his side to drain out the fluid from the abscesses. But nothing came out, so they said they would have to open him up just to have a look to see what was wrong with the liver. When they came out and said he had a tumor, the entire family just broke down and cried. I remember having to console everyone, including my husband and Boo, my youngest. We all cried. But after that, for me, the tears just wouldn't come. It was as if it was blocked. I was frozen, his mother said. After a series of tests, he was diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. Abdul Jalil and others around him were devastated by the news, which hit him at 24. The dynamic young guy who had always been full of life was now facing a life-threatening illness. Despite the pain and uncertainty that came with his diagnosis, Abdul Jalil stayed dedicated to helping his community. When Malaysia experienced severe flooding, he recognized a chance to make a difference despite his personal difficulties. He acknowledged the affected populace's critical need for assistance and relief activities. Abdul Jalil worked closely with the Red Crescent team to coordinate aid distribution and medical treatment for individuals affected by the floods. During this challenging period, His persistent commitment saved lives and gave critical assistance to thousands of displaced people. His father had to force him to get treatment from the best doctors in Malaysia. He was even flown to China for medical care after Western medicine failed to cure his liver cancer. His death. Prince Abdul Jalil did not go gentle into that good night, but death cannot be cheated. He later passed on in early December of 2015 after a liver transplant and series of medical complications. He battled a series of chemotherapy, pain, and worst of all, the guilt of watching his family hurt over him. Eventually, the cancer spread to his lungs even after the liver transplant, which left him sensitive to many treatments before he finally succumbed after a hard-fought war. Thousands attended the prince's farewell ceremony at the royal palace. His coffin had a police cap and sword representing his dedication to protecting the common people. Following prayers, the prince was buried at the Mahmudiyah Royal Mausoleum. The pain of his death was expressed by many, some of whom expressed their respect through good words. Malaysian Red Crescent Society Johor Bahru Chapter's Deputy Chairman, Mr. Velasamy S. Pillai, told the press, "The prince," he said, "was a very down-to-earth person who even volunteered to help the victims of the floods that hit the state in 2006. He remained lively and optimistic even during his battle in the hospital. He told his mother to tawakkul, which means to rely on God. In fact, a video of him pranking the nurses despite his health once went viral." Former journalist Meera Vijayan once said in an email, "I met him on several occasions and he would always wave or stop for a chat. Once when I met him at the Johor Zoo, he revealed that he kept an astounding number of pets at home. His father, Sultan Ibrahim, pledged to assist all Malaysians with cancer." Tunku Lakshmana Johor Cancer Foundation. As Samuel Butler once said, "To die completely, a person must not only forget, but be forgotten. And he who is not forgotten is not dead." The prince can never be forgotten. He left lots of good legacies behind that will make him remain in everyone's memory, even after years of his death. The Tunku Abdul Jalil Conservation Center in Long Beach, named after His Highness Tunku Abdul Jalil, is a moving monument to his legacy and conservation zeal. The center, which was opened by His Majesty on the 4th of September 2018, demonstrates Tunku Abdul Jalil's devotion to environmental preservation. Dedicated to Tunku Abdul Jalil's legacy, the center represents his beliefs and commitment to environmental protection. The center honors his legacy by carrying on the work he was passionate about throughout his lifetime through environmental projects and conservation activities. The royal family jokingly referred to Abdul Jalil as Lakshmana, which translates to Admiral in Malay. The center's motto is "Fight like Jalil." Each year, this cutting-edge center treats over 7,000 Malaysians with cancer. Even after his death, the prince continues to help others, which holds symbolic meaning. Also, the mosque at the Royal Malaysia Police's Johor Contingent Headquarters, the Tunku Lakshmana Abdul Jalil Mosque, honors him by naming it after him. Dewan Tunku Lakshmana Abdul Jalil at Polytechnic Ibrahim Sultan in Pasir Gudang, Johor, is also named after him. These show the positive impact he had on his society and his people before being taken away by death. Prince Abdul Jalil's story stands out amidst similar misfortunes. Despite his brief life, he significantly impacted his people and even those abroad. Malaysians will never forget him as the people's king of souls and the favorite prince. Do good people really die younger? Or was this simply a case of fate? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Also subscribe to our channel and like the videos if they bring you good information.